Representing LSU, head coach Paul Manieri, catcher Cade Civic, and shortstop Alex Bregman. Coach, if you'd begin with an opening statement.
This is always the opening statement you hate to make. It's after the last game of the year, and you haven't really had a chance to digest everything and come to grips with all of your emotions. And right now, my feelings are just very, very sad for our players that gave so much and so much effort this year with the goal of winning a national championship, and we've come a little bit short. In particular, you know, it's going to be really difficult to say goodbye to a group of really wonderful kids that have played their last game for LSU. And these two guys sitting to my right here, Cade Civic and Alex Bregman, are two of the greatest ball players that I've had the great pleasure of coaching, and I'm going to miss them terribly, just miss them awfully. And you know, their experience here playing for LSU, I hope, has been very rewarding for them. You know, the tough thing about this business is, you know, you work so hard all year, really for the years leading up to this year, and you know, you have hopes and aspirations, and then the finality of it is so quick and so cruel, really. You know, you expect to be playing for the championship, and you know, your team wins 54 games during the season, and you know, you win championships along the way, but you know, the one you really want to win is so difficult. And you know, tonight we just got outplayed. You know, we got outplayed by a team that brought in a really good relief pitcher, and he baffled us for about 5 innings, I guess. You know, we just didn't pitch quite well enough today, and you know, they got a few big hits. We scratched and clawed and fought as hard as we could, but it was just not enough tonight, and because of that, our season comes to an end. You know, I just don't even want to think about life without Alex Bregman. You know, I've been thinking how lucky I've been to be his coach for 3 years, and I've enjoyed every second of having that young man in our program. We thought we'd win at least one national championship together, but you know, we've won a lot of games. We just couldn't win the last game of the year. That's not going to take away from the way we feel about each other, that's for sure. So we'll digest it. We'll go talk to the team and you know, kind of analyze everything, and then we'll go forward.
We'll open the floor to questions. As a reminder, please introduce yourself and the agency you represent.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ TV. Coach Manieri, does this just illustrate the importance of pitching in the college game these days?
Listen, TCU's got a tremendous pitching staff. You can see their team ERA is 2.3. I mean, they don't do that by accident. They've got a lot of great arms. And, you know, Vanderbilt does, Florida does, Virginia does. You know, we have some good arms. Just we need to, you know, we had some bad breaks this year where we lost out on a couple of kids that we thought were going to help us a lot, and kind of just made us a little more thin than we needed to be. But the kids that went out there and pitched, you know, I think Alan Dunn did just magnificent work with all of them. They made themselves competitive. The margin for error is just so small when you don't, you know, have, you know, the mid-90s fastball or the knockout break 'em ball or whatever. And you know, we made a couple of mistakes. We walked too many batters tonight. That was really our undoing tonight. I don't know how many walks we had. Must have had 5 or 6. And a team like TCU, you don't want to give them those kind of opportunities because, you know, they know how to take advantage of them. And we're just going to strive to continue to get better. And, you know, our pitching was good this year. You know, obviously it was great at times. We'll try to keep improving.
Kendall.
Kendall Rogers doing baseball for Alex and Cade. What was Teagle kind of able to do to keep you guys from getting a groove tonight?
Alex, go ahead. Start.
He threw a pretty downhill fastball It's like 92, 95. You really had to get on top of it. We just missed a few of them, and then he threw like this little like cutter slider thing that was pretty hard, but not that hard compared to his fastball. It was just a downhill fastball that he could get ahead with, and I mean, he had good feel for his slider. I mean, it's nothing we've seen it before. He just pitched very well today.
Yeah, I mean, I have to go along with Alex there. I mean, he competed. He threw strikes. He sunk his fastball. He competed against us, and I mean, we just missed a few pitches.
Next question to Eric.
Coach Maneri, Eric Sorensen, college baseball today and D1 baseball. You've had a lot of great teams and a lot of great teams in the program, obviously, but where does this team rate in the teams that you've had over the years, both here and at Notre Dame and whatnot?
You know, Eric, it's really hard to compare teams. You know, we have had a lot of great teams, a lot of wonderful young men that have passed through the program. We've won a lot of games. You know, it's sometimes unfair that teams get judged at LSU whether or not they won the last game of the year or not. These kids played their hearts out all year. What a great group. You know, when Cade Civic came into our program 2 years ago, kind of an unheralded guy, and now I think he's the best catcher in the country. The way he played tonight was amazing. The throws, the RBI hit, you know, he's been our leader. You know, he and Alex have been our leaders all year. And we've got a great group. We won 54 games. We won an SEC championship. We won a regional. We won a super regional. We've been ranked #1 in the country for like 10 straight weeks. So, you know, it's a great group, a great team. And unfortunately, we just ran into a team here in Omaha that played better than us 2 days. And you know, give them credit. Baseball can be a very humbling game. On these 2 days, it just didn't work for us, and I don't know. They may go on and win the national championship. I think they're pretty good. I know there's a couple other teams that are pretty good still in the tournament as well. I think we're clearly one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the country. Yeah, maybe top 5 in the country, and unfortunately, we just came up a little bit short out here.
In the back.
Doug Mouton, WWL-TV in New Orleans. Alex and Cade, both of you guys. Alex first. When you hear Coach Maneri say those things about you, what's going through your head right now?
Just that we left it all out there every time we took the field. We love playing for Coach Maneri and the other coaches. And the road to Omaha starts for the guys that are in that locker room that are coming back next year. It starts now, and they're gonna work for that and try and fight their way back here. And it's a tough place to win games, and they're gonna try and scratch and claw and fight their way back and try and find ways to win here and just dream about winning a national championship.
I mean, with Alex again, every time we took the field, we left it all out there. These coaches are amazing. Coach Maneri is awesome. They've helped me so much along the way, helped all these guys. And they were behind us all the way. And just best of luck to the guys coming behind us. And, I mean, they know what it takes now. So
We'll take 2 more questions. John?
John Neatel with the Omaha World Herald. Coach Maneri, just how much, I guess, deliberation or discussion was there in terms of who you wanted to start today, and then what did you see from Zach in terms of the struggles in the second inning?
Well, you know, we went with, you know, obviously if we had that one pitcher we felt we could run out there for 6 or 7 good innings for us, we would have started that pitcher. But, you know, I just don't think, you know, the rest of the guys on our staff after Lang and Poche are at that point right now that they could have delivered that. And we thought our best option would be just to, you know, keep them off balance by trying different guys. And we've done it many, many times and with success. Unfortunately, we had a couple bad innings tonight. You know, Zach got the nod because we felt that with his experience and his composure, he's pitched in a lot of big situations throughout his career at LSU, that he'd be able to handle it and get us off to a good start. The first inning, you know, we were able to escape a jam, and, you know, I thought he was doing okay, even though he wasn't getting his breaking ball over the plate. And then in the second inning, he just kept falling behind on counts and never was able to effectively use his curveball. And quite frankly, that's his big pitch. and it just never worked for him. And so, he'd fall behind in counts, have to lay a fastball in there. They got some hits. We walked a couple of batters, and then we made the change, and kid snuck one through first and second there off of Hunter, and before you know it, they got a 3 spot. But we fought back, we tied it up. Felt good about our chances. I thought we'd settle the game down, and then they brought in the relief pitcher, and we just couldn't do much with them the rest of the way.
Take one final question here in the third row.
Randy Rosetta, New Orleans Times-Picayune. Paul, you may have just touched on it, but Newman and Norman both seemed like they had found a groove. Was there any thought to leaving them in and let it run for a little while?
They did. They pitched well, and I know my players. Hunter Newman is a breaking ball pitcher, and you can only get away with that for so long. He's going to throw 80% breaking balls, and he came in, did a great job, and gave us what we needed. And it was time to turn it over to Bain, and unfortunately Bain walked a couple batters that ended up hurting him. Doug did a nice job. He faced the bottom third of the order. It's not to diminish anything from him. He did a great job and gave us a good inning. And then we thought it was time to get Jesse out there and get some velocity. Unfortunately, his command wasn't good, and created a couple of situations, and they were able to scratch another one across. But we gave it thought, but I just felt that our best chance was going to be the way we did it, and unfortunately, we just couldn't hold them to a low enough run total.
On behalf of the NCAA, I'd like to congratulate LSU on a wonderful season. Thank the student athletes and Coach Maneri for joining us. If you have individual questions, please coordinate with the LSU SID. Thank you, Coach. Representing TCU, head coach Jim Schlossnagel, relief pitcher Trey Tickle, left fielder Dane Steinhagen, and catcher Evan Skaug. Coach, if you'd begin with an opening statement.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate LSU on a great season. It's an honor to be on the same field with that team and that program, especially Alex Bregman. Had a chance to coach him for a summer, and in 25 years of college coaching, there's very few players that you sit in the other dugout and just truly enjoy watching them compete. And so I'll always consider that an honor. Obviously, the story of the game for us, twofold, is Trey Tickle doing the things that he's done for us all season, or his entire career, coming in, and he completely changes the pace of games. And I knew we were going to have to use him probably in the middle of the game, but was hoping to get through the fifth inning with Traver, but just couldn't do it. And LSU's too momentum-driven. I had to change things there early, and obviously Dane had a lot of really big hits for us as well.
We'll open the floor to questions. Carlos?
Trey, there you are. I should have noticed you from the top. How does that outing compare for you in terms of other postseason games you've pitched?
That's probably been one of my favorite ones, just because, I was able to really help my team in a big game. That's probably the biggest game we played all year. Every game from here on out is the most important game of the season, so that's probably my favorite, just because of that aspect. And, I was fortunate to have a good outing today, so, I felt good.
Kendall?
Kendall Rogers, D1 Baseball. Coach, Trey pitched really well against A&M a couple of weeks ago, pitches well against another physical lineup like LSU. From your perspective, what do you kind of see from him that he seems to match up so well with offenses like that?
Well, he matches well with anybody because he just commands the baseball with 3 pitches. He's equally effective against right and left-handed hitters. He's a really, really good athlete on the mound. Even when he doesn't have his best stuff, he still has that angle to the baseball, and he's got some deception in his delivery. And he's the most valuable pitcher that's been in our program maybe ever in 12 years. The most valuable. I mean, there's certainly been high draft picks and guys that have had great seasons, but in terms of a guy that can literally pitch in any role, Trey's the best. And the best part about him is he's selfless to where he's not, knocking on my door for 5 years looking for a better role, for a bigger role, I guess you'd call it, or a more high-profile role, because he certainly he would have every right to come in and say, I want to be a starter, or I want to be the closer, whatever that is. But he's just always there when we need him, and which is why I wanted to get him out as quick as I could, so we can maybe get him back, in this thing before the weekend's out.
Any further questions? Carlos?
Evan, your perspective on Trey and what he was doing tonight and what he's done for you this year.
Well, Trey, as usual, is remarkable. I mean, we asked so much of Trey, and for him to come in and be Mr. Reliable and come in and give us several good innings and keep us in the ball game, it's amazing. And he's been doing it all year. I mean, he's really been a big part in my development as well as the rest of the freshmen. I mean, he's just Mr. Do-It-All. I mean, without Trey, we would be a completely different ball club.
Third row on the right.
Jim Schonert from Baseball America. Coach, I just wanted to ask you about Evan. I mean, just what does he mean to you guys offensively and defensively? He obviously he's had a good postseason, and obviously still handling this load as a freshman catcher there for you.
Sure. The biggest question mark going into the season for our team was how are two freshman catchers that are both very talented going to handle a veteran pitching staff. And I told them both I could really care less how you hit or really how you throw. Just catch the ball, make the strikes and block the balls that are in the dirt. And both of them had done a great job. Evan certainly had to play a little bit more than Zach. And we knew he was going to be a really good offensive player. And he knew from pretty much day one in the spring that he's going to be hitting cleanup, and he hasn't come out of there at all. So he's handled that, at a very high level, and I think part of his development is just what he said, is that having 8 seniors around him, he's been selfless enough to listen to what those guys have to say, and he's had a lot of guidance. And now, as he said to me the other day, he doesn't get to be he doesn't get to be young too much longer. There's going to come a day where he's going to have to do what these other guys have done for him. But he's a big part of our team.
Brad
Hardcastle, TCU360.com. Dane, you were 3 for 4 tonight. What was working for you at the plate?
I just felt confident. Before every at-bat, Coach Slosh told me to just eliminate the curveball every time, and that's what I did, and it allowed me to just be on time with that fastball, and I was ready for it every time.
Second row.
This question is actually, I would like everyone to answer this question if we can. We'll start with Coach, then Evan, then Dane, and then Trey, please.
I'll tell them when they're going to answer.
Okay. Well, all right, here, we'll see about that. No, just kidding. What role did Micah Ahern play in tonight's win for you guys?
Coach, go ahead.
She's in charge, buddy. I'm kidding. Mike is just, he's always on our mind, and he's a big part of our team. A big part of our program. We had a long conversation last night with the team just about, there are way bigger things in life than the College World Series, even at this moment in time. And so when you keep that as your perspective, you can play a lot more free. And this is just a very small sliver in everybody's life. And eventually, no one's even going to be able to name who the national champion was this weekend. But that little guy's fighting like crazy to make it to the next day. We can certainly go out and just have fun and play some baseball.
We'll go down the line for the players. Start at Evan.
Well, Micah, I don't really have a long history like Trey and Coach, but this year he's really impacted us. He is a true superhero. Just the things that he goes through on the daily makes life for us just seem so much easier. and it just puts things in perspective, and it makes you thankful for the health you have, the teammates you have, and the ability to go out there and play a game for a living. So just putting it in perspective, and it's like knowing your why, like why you go out there and do what you do.
Dane?
Like Evan, this is my first year here too, so I haven't known Micah that long, but just me not knowing him that long, before the game we wrote MK on our hats. Every single one of us did. So just to know that we have him, we're thinking about him the whole day, and that we have him in our hearts, and that we're doing this for him.
Trey?
Yeah, I mean, Micah is honestly, he's part of our team. Like he's part of our team chemistry. You know, he's been with us a few years now, and we just love him. And you know, whenever he's around, it gives us a big boost, and hopefully it gives him a big boost. He likes coming around. And, you know, we do whatever we can to make sure he's happy and feeling good. And you know, it really helps us because it puts things in perspective. You know, about how important you know, a baseball game really is compared to other more important things in life. And certainly Micah's having a rough time right now, so we enjoy being able to see him smile, and it helps us at the same time as far as team chemistry. You know, he's whenever he comes around, it really boosts our morale, and we love seeing him. So
We'll take two more questions. Josh and then Jim.
Josh Davis with WFA TV in Dallas. Dane, so the entire lineup didn't get to go through on a single LSU pitcher. When they're switching pitchers that often, how does it change, or does it change your mindset, or does it change your approach in any way?
No, sir. Just like I said before, I have to go up there with a plan every single time. And yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I really didn't do that. And today, I just locked in, had a plan, eliminated the off speed, and was ready for the fastball anytime. I mean, that's my go-to. I love hitting the fastball, so I was ready for it every time.
Final question from Jim.
Jim Callis with MLB.com. Coach, could you talk about your pitching plans for tomorrow and potentially Saturday, and just comment in general about how important pitching depth is here in Omaha?
Well, pitching depth in Omaha, pitching depth is always important anytime you play. Pitching depth here doesn't have to be that important if you stay in the winner's bracket, you know. But when you get in the loser's bracket, then obviously it's going to come into play more significantly. For us, haven't decided yet. Certainly we have Tyler Alexander sitting down there ready to go. Preston, on my lineup card, I always, put the bullpen who's available to pitch that day, and he was pretty mad that he wasn't on the lineup card today. Although he's always in the back of my mind, so we'll see. I'm not sure I want to bring him back, but we'll talk about it tonight. And Coach Corbin and I always have a unique text thing going back and forth. So he's already told me he's pitching Eshelman, so I'm going to announce that I'm going to throw Alex Lang tomorrow.
I'd like to thank the student athletes and Coach Schlossnagel for joining us. TCU will battle Vanderbilt tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Vanderbilt will be the home team.